The name Evolve evokes images of a plane plummeting from the sky and erupting into flame, before the individual pieces of that plane then also erupt into flame. However, that particular game has now gone free to play, and its developers have opened up about, shall we say, the troubled launch surrounding this game. Now, here's the really annoying thing about Evolve. The concept of the game looked really cool. Sort of asymmetrical gameplay, 4 versus 1. Obviously, you know, you've got one very powerful person, and then 4 lot less powerful, sort of grouping together to fight the big thing. That's a really cool idea, but it was scuppered by numerous things. The insanely confusing DLC content plan that had 3 editions of the game and a season pass, and even had like so much DLC and all this stuff. It was really mismarketed, and the DLC decisions were bad. Now, naturally, at the time, the co-founder of Turtle Rock, the developers Phil Robb, basically said that, you know, the marketing and the selling of the game was primarily down to 2K. Turtle Rock was simply the developer. Now, while that's true, the issues weren't just with the DLC. The issue was also the content of the game was promising, but there wasn't enough there to warrant the asking price. And now, after the game has been made free to play after a brief stint of being removed from Steam, the gameplay has been changed. The co-founders Chris Ashton and Phil Robb spoke frankly about the Evolve launch and the DLC shitstorm that engulfed it. That's their words, not mine. And they said in a joint statement, quote, "When Evolve launched, the reception wasn't what we expected. Sure, there were some good reviews. There were also bad reviews. That's where there was excitement. But there was also disappointment, for players and for us. The DLC shitstorm hit full force and washed away people's enthusiasm, dragging us further and further from that first magical pick-up and play experience. We want that magic back and aim to make it happen." Now, as I said at the start of, just a few moments ago rather, the developers have changed some things within the game, and they've given a bit of an overview as to what exactly has changed with the game. They're reworking the hunter classes to make the team less reliant on having experienced trappers and medics. They've made improvements to the maps and UI, improving loading times, overall performance and getting used to the game faster, improving stability and fixing bugs, reworking the progression system and tutorials, and adding more customization options. Now, you may see Evolve on the Steam store, but if you go onto it, you'll see that it's a beta available for free on PC today, which is of course the 7th of July, and anyone who owns Classic Evolve will be given quote-unquote founder status in the new version, and all the content you already own comes with you to the new version. Now, this free period isn't just for the beta. They have said yes, this is going to be their plan for the future, and they basically said on Twitter, quotes, "Once we get through the beta period on PC, we'll be launching on all platforms for free." Now, as I said, there is still concerns here, because while they were working the gameplay, which is great, it's great to hear, because the gameplay was definitely one of the contributing factors to Evolve's messy launch, I'm concerned about the microtransactions, because there was already a lot of DLC, and the DLC was really convoluted and confusing, the season pass, and then you had the monsters and hunters being sort of like, released in bits rather than just, hey, here's everything that we have launch, which is probably what they should have done. Now I'm concerned, well, with it being free to play, what's the model here? How much am I going to have to grind to unlock everything? Because I didn't actually buy Evolve. I didn't get into it, and all the controversy put me off. I was really interested in the game, and then it came out and fell flat on its face, and here we are. So I'm probably going to be having a look at the game at some point during the beta period, and obviously it's a beta, it's going to change, but at least want to have a quick look at how they're attempting to do the model and whether or not it's actually worth giving your time to, and obviously have a really critical look at the microtransactions, because it's definitely something people are going to want to know from Evolve. So I want to know your thoughts and opinions. As I said, I did not play the game myself when it first came out, but plenty of people did. They dropped a lot of money on this game, and of course it turned out to be a pretty big disappointment, so I don't see huge amounts of those people coming back. I mean, maybe some will, but I think, to be honest, the name of Evolve might just be sullied at this point. But this is a pretty decent attempt to kind of revive the game, at least on PC, and of course it will be on consoles at a later date, but we'll have to see. Maybe it being free will be enough, but I've got a feeling that a sort of digital recognition of, hey, here's a badge to recognise that you paid us $40 at some point in this now free-to-play game, is going to be small consolation for a lot of people. But again, let me know your thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear from you, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.